Hello everyone, I'm live. Thank you for tuning in on this. If you're in the UK, I don't know if it's beautiful, but let's say every day is beautiful. It's absolutely raining here. So let me know where you are watching from and what the weather's like, because I'd like to know. So before I introduce my lovely guest, if you've not seen me before, my name is Daniella Blechner, author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. On the bookshelf behind me here are just some of the 160 plus books that we've published over the last 5 to 6 years. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard voices and authors so they can have their voices heard and stories shared, so they can educate, inspire, entertain, empower, transform and heal the generation to come. So I'm inviting a very special guest to come into the broadcast, and it's my sister. I have not done a Facebook Live for what feels like ages. Very rarely. I used to do them all the time, and I feel like I'm forgetting how to use it. So I'm just waiting for my sister to come in, and I'll tell you why. Here she is. Yay, she's here. There we go. So before I bring her in, we are doing a webinar together on January the 11th at 7 p.m. Really looking forward to it. I'm also running a writers weekend on the 5th and 6th of February for authors who are ready, or aspiring writers who are really wanting to start writing their book and really feel stuck and not sure how. I'm wearing orange because orange is the colour of creativity, so it's all about helping you to unleash your creativity. And I'm inviting my sister on, as she is a holistic health coach with over 22 years of experience in the health sector. And she will be leading a transformational breath session, 2-hour transformational breath session during the writers workshop. So I'm going to bring her onto the camera now. If you find this of worth of value, please do. If you're watching this on the replay, just put in the hashtag replay. If you have any questions, this is interactive. Please do throw your questions up, whether you're watching now or whether you're watching on the replay. Hi, Francesca.
Oh, there we are. That's so weird. I haven't done a Facebook. I haven't joined someone on a live for ages on Facebook, and it doesn't show up on your page easily. You have to go into the event that you created to see your live video.
So what I'll do, as I am multitasking, is I can see it on my actual personal page. It should be there now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it took a while to sort of show up, so I couldn't find it.
We're getting to grips, and I didn't write a title for it either. Oh well. So
I think I've just shared it onto my page, so maybe some more people come in.
Okay. Brilliant.
I can't seem to see myself because all the writing's how do I clear that?
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll sort it. So, well, introduce yourself to people who are watching.
Hi, from a Sunday, very rainy Sunday here in the UK.
Join someone live.
Slow Sunday. Yeah, my name is Francesca Blechner. I am Danny's sister, and I'm a holistic health coach, author of Self-Care for Life in the City, self-published through Conscious Dreams Publishing, and I work with entrepreneurs, business leaders, business owners, helping them to align mind, body, and spirit for health optimization for business, life, and leadership. And that's my passion. And I've just also created a daily wellbeing ritual card deck.
I knew you were going to get that in.
Of course. Come on, I'm an entrepreneur. So you got to drop it in. Yeah, I mean, I take them with me everywhere. Like when we went out for lunch on Friday for our anniversary, and I was like, let me just take my cards, my sample deck, because you never know who I'm going to talk to. And then went to the frankincense store and bought some frankincense and stuff. And I gave my email address. She goes, oh, so what do you do? Are you like a coach or something? I said, yeah, I am. And this is, and I was like, oh, I've written a book and I'm just about to release these card decks. I've got them out. And actually, I've passed on Kess's details because she's got a
Oh,
friend who's
amazing.
doing card decks. So you never know who you can speak to.
Exactly.
I'm all about the networking, network, collaborate, connect.
But first of all, we've got Jay Benlow watching. Hey Jay, how you doing? Happy New Year to everybody. Again, I haven't been live for a very, very long time. So hello. As you're coming into the broadcast, please tap the screen, show us some love. Say hello, let us know where you're watching from. Hi Sandra. So I'm interviewing the lovely Francesca Blechner, who is my sister, on this lovely Sunday. A holistic health coach and transformational breath facilitator. She's just speaking to us about working with burnt out entrepreneurs. I mean, I'm like your perfect client. They burnt out entrepreneurs, people who have a vision and a mission, right? But they maybe put their health on the back burner a little bit and want to take conscious control of it. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm here, like, look at the world is in a bit of turmoil. So we need conscious, healthy leaders to bring their medicine and their mission out into the world, whatever that is, because then that really shifts the consciousness of the planet. You know, when we're really living our purpose and we're in alignment with who we are, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then we can be here to carry out and fulfill our purpose, our dreams, and create the life, design the life that we want to create for ourselves. And that creates then a ripple effect out into the world.
I think a lot of people are, especially female entrepreneurs who are so driven and wanting to do the next thing and the next thing, and something I really feel like I'm still in hibernation mode. So for me to do this Facebook Live is quite a huge thing, because really I just want to be in a little cocoon. And I think
Yeah.
with women, we work in cycles, where men, they're more linear. And we've adapted to this linear way of being, where we just continue going. And I think it's really important for us to take control and charge of our health, and to put that first, so that it helps us to align better with our purpose. So I love what you do. Right, get your cards out. I know you can't wait. Just show us, and then what
Oh
I'd like
yeah,
to
I
do a bit
forgot about.
later.
I didn't have them handy on the screen. Like I
Oh
forgot.
my
I wasn't
God!
thinking to
But
get
then
them out, but
I could reach out to them. A bit later on in the interview, I'd like to have like a little you pull some
reading.
cards for me, yeah. But just
Yeah.
to the camera and let everyone know what they are. Yes, Joanna says hopefully some tips for burnt out employees too. Yes, exactly. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Joanna, are you here? Are you? If you're here, say yes. If you'd like Francesca to pull you a card, that might be a really nice idea. But meanwhile, Fran, just tell us a little bit about these cards. I know you're very excited about them.
I am excited because I had the idea 2 years ago at the back end of the book, which every section brings these health bank deposits. So they're designed to, the whole philosophy is small actionable steps on a daily basis creates long-lasting change and longevity and transformation, especially at this time of year where, and generally all year round, you're kind of bombarded now with wellness and, the diet, what diets do, how to eat, like fasting, and how to train and work out, and like meditation and breath work and all of these things. And what I found was actually simplicity is key. And if you overwhelm yourself with trying to do too many things, then it just becomes like a tick list of stuff that you're doing. And actually, I think I really believe in morning rituals. How you start your day is how you mean to go on through the day. So actually just picking one thing in the morning, tune in, what does my mind or body or soul need to nourish itself right now, today?
Mm-hmm.
And then and these cards don't lie. I've tested it out on quite a few people. And it's going to give you a tip or an action to take that day that comes from the 6 pillars of health, which is nutrition, mindset, breathing, hydration, rest, and movement. And under those 6 pillars, there's a variety of cards. But when we work with those 6 pillars, we're really addressing all facets of our health: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. But just starting with a foundation. So, when you start to integrate those over the month, over the week, then you really start to build sustainable habits and change. and
Okay.
that's what
Oh,
creates
sounds
health.
amazing. If you're watching, just say if you'd like Francesca to pull a card for you, say
Thanks,
yes.
Shelley.
Meanwhile, no, let's just do it now. Go on then. Could you pull a card for me, please? Do I need to like think about something or?
No, not really. I mean, these are, they're not like you know, giving you a life reading or anything, but they're just going to give you like, yeah, an action for, let's do a three, we'll do a 3 card pick
Okay.
of what is your, for your
What,
mind, body and
when,
soul.
when we're done with this, can we put the link in the chat, because Joanna or Jay would like to have a look as well. Okay, so we'll do a demonstration how they work. So I've woken up in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like 3 tips for today, please. What actionable points can I put in? Hey, John.
So think about what tune into, you know, what does my mind, body and soul need right now? So it's going to be one for each. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm putting 3 cards, body, soul. You might not be able to see. So for your mind, we've got breathing.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Transformational breath.
No, not transformational breath. 3 deep belly breaths. So place one hand on the lower, you don't have to do it now, but it says place one hand on the lower belly. As you breathe in, feel your lower belly expand. As you exhale, feel yourself drop and sink into your body. This will help you feel more centered.
Okay.
So very good for the mind, mental clarity, grounding yourself and just coming back to your centers. That's a great one for the mind. Body. Oh, this is a good one. Nutrition. Up your omega-3 intake.
Oh, I've just bought some omega-3 tablets as well.
There we go. I told you these never lie.
Yeah.
So omega-3 essential fat, and it gives you a little breakdown on each card. So like, you know, why is it important? It's anti-inflammatory. Good sources are wild salmon, oily fish, walnuts, chia seeds, avocados, spirulina, algae.
Ooh.
And then the soul is nutrition again. So this one is the farmer's market. And I wanted to go to farmer's market today, actually, funny enough, because that really tops up my soul. I just love wandering around, like, you know, the local organic produce and local farmers. So look up your local farmer's market, organic food or farm box delivery. Eating seasonally local and organic does wonders for your health, the environment, and supports local farmers. So yeah, that's still the soul. That feeds the soul. You know, you're contributing to the planet and consciousness of where you're buying your food. So there we go. And those 6 pillars of wellness, shall I put them in the chat or should we do that later?
I've just put the cards in the chat, the link to the cards in the chat. So Joe, just let me know that they're in there. I can see it here. I posted under Conscious Streams Publishing. Also, okay.
Oh, cool.
So
cool. And there's a discount code as well till next Sunday for if you use a code pre-order, you get 20% discount up until next Sunday.
Pre-order, capital letters, is it?
Yes. It's all on that link as well.
Oh, okay, fine. All right. Okay, fantastic. So you are going to be doing a webinar on Wednesday. So for those of you who don't know, hey there, Adrian. I used to be Adrian's TA 13 years ago. 46, no, nearly 20 years ago.
Oh,
wow. Hello.
Oh, wow.
TA teaching assistant. So we're running a webinar on Wednesday, the 11th of January. I'll put the link into the chat as well. It's for aspiring authors or aspiring writers. Maybe you've had this on your heart for a long time. You've always wanted to write a book, but there's something stopping you. And usually what it is, it's 3 things. It's not having a clue how to do it, where to start, how to structure it, and just not having the knowledge. That's 4 things. So this workshop, this webinar is going to give you 3 hacks to writing the book of your dreams. And Francesca's going to be doing a very, very short mini transformational breath session to give you a flavour of what you can actually get on the full weekend, which is in February. So the reason why I've asked Fran to do this is because when I speak to people, it's not necessarily the writing that is the problem. It's actually getting started with the writing and unlocking that, you know, ability to tap into your creativity. Or maybe it's fear. A lot of the times it's fear of, if I get this story out, what's so and so going to think, or is it going to be good enough? And so that doubt becomes crippling, which then cripples those channels to your creativity. So I wanted to come at doing this workshop, yes, with information, yes, with tips, yes, with, you know, creative exercises to getting writing and working as a group, but also looking at this holistically and tapping into our, you know, our mind, body and soul. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. So tell us, Fran, what transformational breath is and how it can be helpful for people tapping into their creativity and getting rid of that stagnant energy.
Well, yeah, I think what's really important is, I mean, and also when I speak to people and they ask me about the process of writing a book, and it is that a lot of the thing that's holding them back is it's sharing their story, because when you when you write what's on your heart, you're sharing a part, you know, you're sharing your soul and your heart, and then so much of your stuff will come up. Your
Yeah.
sort of your fear of being seen is a huge one. Being seen, being heard, what people are going to think of you, not knowing enough, all of these things. So how the breath work is really powerful as a tool, and it's something I've been using for 6 years now and had transformational results with my clients, is that it accesses the subconscious mind. So a lot of those beliefs and programs are, I mean, they're programs. You weren't born with those programs of not feeling enough or not wanting to be seen or heard as a baby, right?
Yeah.
So they are
You definitely
literally
want to be heard as a
program.
baby.
What's
I said
that?
you definitely want to be heard as a baby. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
exactly. So these are programs that are literally sitting in your software. Think of it as just your software program, and they're playing in the background and are dictating your behaviors and your patterns in life, in all areas or aspects of your life. But we're focusing on writing the book.
Yeah.
So the breath is a gateway to the subconscious mind. So it's a bit like therapy without the talking, basically. The body doesn't lie. The
Yeah.
body holds and stores emotions. And now there's a ton of research out there how our nerve cells in the organs store memory, and they store trauma as well. And so when with the breath, that helps to kind of access that, loosen it, literally loosen that hold, that bind that literally holds on to your DNA and begins to unravel and unwind it. So every emotion has a chemical signature, a chemical signature. So those and that's called neuropeptides. So those negative, well, they don't like to say positive or negative, but let's say less empowering emotions that's sort of holding you back from actually fully being in your light, your soul, and your being and your expansiveness is it creates like a you could say like
Stagnant.
an stagnation in the system. So the breath work helps to release those neuropeptides. So that's the physics behind it, and so there's so much, but it's really life transformative and it's fast track. So why would you not want to do that?
I mean, I've been to a couple of transformational breath sessions and, you know, posted about it a few times. It's been an incredibly empowering process for me, you know, releasing tension, emotional tension, physical tension, because we store a lot of, you know, emotional tension in our muscles without knowing that it's there or why it's there, and it just releases. And after, you know, I might feel a little bit lightheaded, or, you know, you've got to drink lots of water, but I could really feel like I could embody more of myself and tap more into my creativity. And so this is why we have Francesca running this 2-hour transformational breath session. Not only does it have amazing health benefits, not only could it help you to relieve tension and stress that you've been holding. You know, it's been a really difficult few years for, I'm sure, a lot of us. I mean, certainly us, you know, it's been a difficult time. We're in a difficult time at the moment. But, you know, that at the beginning of this year is a fantastic time to do this, because I'm speaking to so many people. Just the other day, I was speaking to somebody who I spoke to when I first started out 6 years ago, who wanted to write a book, and just saying, right, I'm ready now. You know, so many of us have been holding on to projects and things that we've wanted to do for years, and this sort of stagnant energy is just keeping it stuck. So this really is about, it's called, hey Afro, nice to see you. So the Writers' Weekend is called Writers' Weekend. Unleash your creativity I can't remember what it's called. It's called Liberate Your Creativity and Finish That Book. So it's about liberating yourself and tapping into that creativity. And sometimes you've got to do that, a bit of that transformational breath work, because you could go to a writer's workshop, you can sit and do a webinar, 200 webinars with somebody telling you, how to structure your book or how to write your book. But if you ultimately, you are responsible for writing that book, and if you can't tap into that power, you can't tap into that flow, then there's no one that's going to be able to help you. And that's that sounds bad, sounds horrible, but it is the truth. It really is the truth.
Yeah, can I add something to that as well? It's because it's also like there's a difference between, and this is quite a lot of the feedback that I have from clients who there's difference between knowledge and embodied knowing and feeling. So when clients have come and said, look, oh, wow, I've read all the books on like anxiety and anxiety attachment styles, I've had 10 years of therapy, but like the way I feel about that now is the charge is just not there. Like they don't feel anxious, perhaps, let's say, about being seen or public speaking. So a lot of the work that I do is really directed towards self-leadership, and so that is about really owning your power, and with that breath, it helps the creativity. When you kind of move through that stuckness, then that's when the creative flow comes in as well. You're more in a flow state in your life. There's just more ease because of those old subconscious patterns don't have such a grip on you. I'm not saying they might be completely gone. Often they are, but not always. You need to keep anchoring in as a practice, but they won't have such a grip on you, and that allows more flow in your life. That allows more creativity.
Okay, lovely. So if you
moving on.
No, just tuning some new people have come in. If you just tuned in, my name is Daniella Blechner, author, book journey mentor, founder of Conscious Dreams Publishing, speaking to the awesome, amazing Francesca, who is a holistic health coach, transformational breath, and we are speaking about this Cook That Book, Hacks to Writing the Book of Your Dreams webinar, which we're going to be running on January the 11th, Wednesday, 11 p.m. Not 11 p.m., 7 p.m.
We're going to be in bed.
Fran is coming on as a special guest to talk more about transformational breath and running a mini session. We're also going to be doing a writer's weekend on the 5th and 6th of February. Fran is going to be leading a 2-hour transformational breath for aspiring authors who attend. If you are watching, please do throw up your questions. So this is an opportunity really for you to be involved, ask for questions about the Writers' Weekend or webinar, about the work that Fran does. We're going to be live for another 5-10 minutes. Fran, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, so what would you say is your 3 top tips anyway for writers just starting out?
Why are you laughing?
Because it sounds like such a rehearsed question.
What are your top tips? You have to join the webinar to find out. But I mean, for those who are just starting out, I would say, first of all, the most important thing is to research your audience. Work out who your audience is first. So many times I speak to authors or aspiring authors, I do free consultations, and I always ask them, who's their book for? And the amount of times I get, it's for everyone or anyone. It's like,
that's what I did, yeah.
Never for everyone. The more, it's not to say that anyone can't read your book and anyone can't enjoy your book, but the more focused and clear you are about your target audience, like you, the work you do, the clearer you are about the client that you want to serve, the better service you can give them. Otherwise you're trying to give everything to everybody and end up getting maybe nobody. How I might speak to a 16-year-old is going to be completely different to somebody who is in their mid-40s. You've got to think about not just age or sex. You've got to think about life stage. If you're writing a non-fiction book, what are some of their current challenges? So just get really clear on who your audience is, who your target reader is. Find out where they are, because ultimately as an author, it's your responsibility to get in front of that your reader. You're not going to do that by just
spamming your link on your Facebook page, for example. You know, you want to go out and get speaking gigs, which leads to having a vision. So number 2 is having a vision. You know, what speaking gigs do you want to get? How are you going to get in front of your audience? What is your vision for your book? Because the last thing you want to do is throw out your book and then have no plan for it at all. Third tip is, oh gosh, I mean, this is publishing, I guess. Don't scrimp on an editor. Invest in a good editor. The amount of times I've read books and it's like poorly edited or not edited, or I've spoken to people and they've said, yeah, they've made submissions and they've said, you know, I've already had my book edited. I was like, oh, has it been edited by a professional editor? And then again, even if it's a professional editor or a book editor, a sci-fi editor is going to be completely different to a non-fiction editor. It's different skills, and you have different types of editing as well. And so often some people say, oh, my friend's done it. It's just any idea that you have about editing yourself or getting someone you know to do it, just scrap that. For you want someone professional to do it, who knows what they're doing. Thank you so much, John, who knows what they're doing and is an expert in the field that you're writing in. So yeah, they would be my tips.
Good tips.
What was I was going to say, what were some of your challenges did you find when you were writing a book? And by the way, if you just come in, please do feel free to ask some questions as well.
I think definitely I had the kind of the vision, but then it was like where to start. Like, how do you start writing the book? And like I when it was Who's It For, it was kind of like, yeah, it's for everyone. Like everyone would, you know, it's a book for everyone. So it was, when I really thought about it, it was like narrowing that down. And then, yeah, I mean, having the framework of how to write the book was really valuable, because that's how I started. So that's what I learned from you and the Power of the Story workshop.
Oh, yeah.
What else? Yeah, I think they're the challenges, because if you just think too wide, like you say, you don't speak to anyone, and then your vision is like, but actually when you get narrow it down, you get focused, and you can start to see the vision, and it's like, oh yeah, this feels exciting, this is the path for me.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with me. And what is a lot of people ask me as well about, you know, why what are the benefits of self-publishing?
Well, the benefits of self-publishing is...
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. Do you know what? It's so weird, because I'm so used to like asking people questions and like being the interviewer. I never see, like, because friends of my sister as well. It just feels funny. Right, back to professionalism. What are the benefits of self-publishing?
Yeah.
So there are benefits to traditional and self-publishing, but the benefits of self-publishing is that you're in control. You're more in control. You're in control of your vision. You are in control of the people that you hire. You're in control of deciding, actually, I want to take it in this direction. You're in control of your marketing, which some people don't like at all because they hate marketing. But if you have a vision, you are in complete, you haven't got those limitations on how you market, and you get full royalties. I know there are some self-publishing companies that do take royalties. We don't take royalties, and I'm sure there are lots of self-publishing companies out there who are like that. You pay the company to create, publish and distribute the book. Everything else is then yours. So yeah, you have complete control over your book and your vision, and someone like myself who wants complete control over my work and vision, it's a great way. I think self-publishing had a bad name before in the past. It was called vanity publishing. There's quite a lot of snobbery, whereas anything outside of traditional is not a proper book. But there's so much evidence out there where like self-published authors doing incredibly well. You look at Amanda Hocking, Stephen King's even self-publishing, taking all his books back and self-publishing them. Yeah, to have complete control over his and autonomy over his work. Joanna Penn, I think her name is a huge self-publisher who sells all her books on Shopify and her own online bookshop. So she's not splitting royalties with anybody, not a publisher, not a distribution platform or a bookshop. So it's that having that control
Wow.
obviously, if someone like HarperCollins was to come to you as an author and say, hey, we've got a fantastic deal, we can guarantee we can get your books into all these bookshops and all this other stuff, and we've got a massive marketing plan, we're going to pump this big budget into your book, which means that you don't need to hire editors, they do all of that for you, then that's fantastic. So I'm not against traditional publishing at all. In fact, I'd love to publish my children's middle grade fantasy novel with the right traditional publishing company and the right deal. But again, the benefits of self-publishing is huge in terms of having control over your work, having full access to knowing what your royalties are, being able to check your own sales, and just becoming an entrepreneur. You know, you've got your own business. When you've got a book, you've got your own business. And if you're a business owner or a leader, having a book is like another arm to your marketing plan, you know?
Yeah.
Control over. It's not just a book that you're selling, it's part of your marketing plan. And only you really can do that as an entrepreneur yourself in your own right. Oh, we've got a question here. Just how much percentage-wise of your idea actually ended up in your books? Who's that to, Shelley? How much percentage-wise of your idea actually ended up in
I think you mean talking about self-publishing generally. What percentage actually ends up in the book with self-publishing?
I don't understand.
100%, isn't it?
How much of your idea actually ended up in your book? Shelley, if you could just clarify that question so it's a bit clearer for me. I don't understand it as it is. If that's okay, I'd really appreciate that so I can answer that fully. Any other questions, please do let us know. Fran, tell us about a breakthrough that you've had with the client, if you can, obviously.
Yeah. Any in relation to?
In relation to just a success story, I'm thinking more sort of transformational breath. I remember that you told me. Yeah.
Say again?
I remember one that you told me before.
Okay.
The lady with pain.
With what?
But just give us a.
Okay. Well, actually, this is what I'm going to write up as a case study soon because she's given me permission. Yeah, exactly. So, this is I had a client, young lady, who was suffering anxiety on, she had literally for her whole life that she could remember, she just felt riddled with anxiety, and she's the one who's read all the books and therapy on anxiety attachment styles and stuff, and had the knowledge, and was trying to program the conscious mind and like use mindset and stuff, and then she just decided last year, she was like, I can't live like this anymore, enough's enough. And then that's when she came to me, because I had done some work with her aunt, and then she said, like, I literally don't know what happened. She's like always identified herself as an anxious person. That was her identity. And then she said she woke up one day and just realized, like, I'm not anxious anymore. I don't feel like that. I just feel completely different. And that's completely changed her way in terms of, being in a relationship that wasn't working for her, a bit toxic basically, and being able to actually break away from that and feel confident in herself, just more self-love, not anxious anymore. And when issues do come up, she's able to move through them much more quickly. She's able to release his emotions much more quickly. She has a deeper connection to her own spiritual self that she hasn't felt for either a very long time. And so it's just completely changed her relationship with life, and that's the most kind of important thing, really, is how we meet life. So yeah, she's like, I'd read all the books, done all the work, and then like in 2 or 3 sessions, it was that all those years of doing the research had shifted it.
Is that through transformational breath?
Yeah, it was through my program, Embody the Leader Within, which is based over 5 themes. So each session we work with a specific theme. So it's still lots of kind of like coaching, healing the inner child and things like that. So the most important thing for me is that they're integrating it into their life rather than just having an experience. So yeah.
Track that link in the chat as well. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Right.
For the program.
Yes. Brilliant.
So Shirley says, either of you, are you scraping some while you are writing? I have a few people that give up any kind of written because through the process it changes and they don't go with the flow.
I can answer that one. It depends what you're writing. So in first experience was my non-fiction book.
Find my link.
Probably the same for Fran. And it was about, she's gone. She'll be back. It was based on, the knowledge that she has in her profession. Don't need to see those books on top of my shelf. So my first book was about relationships, and so that was really clear in terms of the structure, and I knew what I was going to put in each one. But the fiction books, just beware that your first draft will never be your last. And this is with any book. Your first draft will never be your last book. So I've been writing a middle grade children's fantasy novel, and for me personally, although I love writing, it's a different kind of skill. It's a much different skill to sharing your knowledge and expertise in a non-fiction book. You've got to think about plot, you've got to think about pace, you've got to think about characters, you've got to think about the journey that your writer's got, your description. I mean, it's just so much more. Narrative arc, all of that stuff. So when I finished my first draft, I thought that was it. Brilliant, I'm so happy with it. Got a manuscript assessment and I realised, okay, now I've poured my heart out and I've self-indulged and I've written from a writer. I was written as a writer. Now I've got to write for my reader. Yeah. And so I had to, what they say, kill some of my darlings. Where you can use 2 words, you can use 1. Where I've written a paragraph, I could use a line. I love writing. I'm a poet. I love the rhythm of words, and I love to play around with words. A 10, 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old is not going to care about your metaphors and similes and personification all in one line. Yeah, you've got to just get to the story. And then I had a second manuscript assessment, and these were done by the first one was done by someone called Tanya Byrne, who is an award-winning children's author, and her advice was absolutely fantastic. The second one was done with a former literary agent who'd done exceedingly well, and she gave me some advice that at first I was like, no, I can't cut all of this out. This is integral to the story. And you want to hold on to it. But when I looked at it again from fresh eyes and thinking, when you're sending your work to agents, they want the first 3 chapters. That's it. They're going to judge your work on your query letter, which is something we'll cover in the Writers' Weekend. I'm going to show you or teach you. You won't teach. I'm going to assist you, facilitate you in writing your own query letter, which it basically is a pitch that sells your book to agents and publishers. Okay. So they're going to ask for a query letter. They're going to ask for a synopsis, which is up to 500 words. It's not a blurb. It's a synopsis, which is blow by blow account of what happens in your story. Very methodical, no description, just they want to know what happens in your story, right? And then the first 3 chapters. So if you're losing the pace in the second chapter and you're kind of going on this language fest of wanting everything, is doing all this description or whatever, or you're indulging too much or taking the reader on a path that they don't necessarily need to go in, it's losing its pace, they're out. They're not interested. They need to be engaged the whole way through the first 3 chapters. And when I got really real with myself, I said, okay, I'm gonna scrap this, and I'm gonna get to this point. My catalyst, it's got to come earlier. So yeah, I've had to scrap quite a bit in my fiction, but there's always ways of putting it back in or feeding it back in or using it in another book. So nothing's really dead. I hope that helps, Shelley, because I think it's really important to know that your first edit is just that. It's a first edit. Yeah, you're going to lose things in that unless you're writing something that's really modeled on, I don't know, 7 principles of I don't know, transformational breath, it's very clear cut. There are 7 principles and there are things that they need to be in there. But if you're writing fiction, be aware that you are going to have to chop. There will be some chopping. Yeah. I'm bringing Fran back in. Okay, so thanks for that, Fran. so just maybe you want to answer that question as well. Have you had to chop anything from your book? Did you, when you initially wrote it, did you have to scrap anything?
Only because I wrote it over about 1.5 years, and actually, to be honest, I wrote it for a few months, and then I kind of abandoned it for 6 months, and then when I went back, there was bits I would go back over and go, actually, I want to take that out. That doesn't resonate anymore, or just sort of streamline things a little bit. But not massive amounts. But there were times I will keep going over to just refine and like rewrite or add something in. Yeah.
And that's why the research is really important before, and this is what we talk about in the webinar, and this is what I'll be talking through at the Writers Weekend. Just your research is so key when you're hey there, Charlene. When you're structuring your book, by the end of this writers workshop, you're going to have a blueprint for your book. You're going to have your chapter outlined, structured. So the clearer you are in that structure, what is your message? What are you including in this particular chapter? What are the key tips, or whatever it is that you're writing that's happening in this chapter, the less chance you're going to have at the end where you're going to be scrapping lots of things and rewriting. They happen sometimes, but the clearer you are in the beginning, which is why I always say, before you write anything, just structure. And I was the kind of kid who hated planning. I went into my English GCSEs, they'd say, oh, plan your story. I don't need to plan. Planning? Me? I've got 2 A's, but but when you're writing a book, it's important just to have that plan, because it's so easy just to give up because you've deviated from the plan, you've got lost, you've taken 6 months away from it. You come back to chapter 5 and you're like, what was I writing? What was I saying? And you're going off on all these tangents and you just want to give up. Just get your plan done first. I can't stress that enough. And then you're gonna avoid so much heartache and money on editors in the long run. Hey there.
Yeah. So we've got our webinar coming up on Wednesday. How can people join?
Well, how can they join? They can join. I've put the link in the chat. It's going to be via Zoom. So www.tinyurl.com/cook-that-book-breathe. That link is in the comments there. It's free to attend, and we're going to be offering you a very special offer at the end, of course. I've also put a link into the Writers Weekend, which I'm very excited about. We forgot to say, we're going to wrap up soon. I'm going to be running a mini emotional freedom session, EFT, which is tapping, again, to help release stagnant energy. So that'll be the day before the transformational breath to set you up. We'll be doing some vision boards, a vision board session to really get you in the groove, did I say that? In the mindset to like being really intentional about your book and your vision and the journey you want to go on. People that I worked with 5 years ago have got things on their vision board that actually came true with them, but they hadn't even published a book yet. They were halfway through their book. And then 2 years later, they've done the interview that they said they wanted, or they've been in it, they've done that, and they'll come back and they'll say, yeah, do you remember I said this? I was like, oh, it's fantastic. So yeah, we're going to do some vision boarding, and it's really about the power of the group. It's not about me leading or teaching. It's about sharing. I'm really into co-creative learning, so there'll be a lot of group work. Jackie's here. Hey, Jackie did one of our Power of the Story workshops. And so you can vouch for me. It's very much about the power of the group and the friendships you form within that group and the advice people in your group share with you. And it's in this beautiful wooded area, and you'll have like an hour to go off and explore the woods and write and come back and share. So it's about creating. It's not about sitting and listening, because tell you what, that is boring.
Who wants that?
It's about, I'm facilitating, you are doing, and sharing, and we're learning together. I'm really excited about it. So any other Fran?
No, I think we've covered covered it all, really, haven't we? And sign up for the webinar, and I think it's if you've been thinking about writing that book for a while, like I had the idea, but I didn't know where to start, then it really helps. It's very hard to do it all by yourself. It really helps to have that framework, know where to start, and then you just allow yourself to be in the flow, and then it just all comes together. And that's really what happened with my process.
And your book is absolutely fantastic. Someone was speaking about it the other day, actually. It's
really?
one of those books, I can't remember who it was, but it's one of those books that you can kind of dip in and out of and say, what is it? To remind myself about.
Go back to,
how can I create natural products, things like that. It's a brilliant book. So pop the link in the comments as well. Everyone who's been watching, thank you so much for joining. If you found this of worth and value, please do post this out or share this out, invite people. If you have any aspiring authors, please let them know about the free 30-minute consultations I offer, the free webinar that's going to be on Wednesday, the writers workshop we've got in February. And Fran, show us your oracle cards one more time, your daily wellbeing cards. Sorry, there you go.
Yeah, share the love, share the support. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great way to start the year as well, being intentional about your health. Okay, so I've got mine as a Christmas present, haven't I?
Oh yeah, they're going to be arriving this week.
Yeah,
actually. So I'll start sending them out. What's that?
I'm going to be buying a couple as gifts as well. So hey,
amazing gifts. Yeah, beautiful gifts.
Alpha says spirit is pushing it's pushing me to write a book of affirmations. Yeah, you've got some great quotes, affirmations. I love that. That's a great idea. I've not thought about that. Deciding I'm doing it, so yes, after I'm doing it, do it. It's more than achievable. We've got a lot of the quotes already. It's just about repurposing it. Yeah. So hope you're coming to the webinar. I know you're coming to the webinar, Afra, so I shall see you there. Thank you everyone for joining. Eileen's just joined. She's one of our authors, The Courage to Shine. Check her out. But we're just finishing, so you get to catch us on the replay.
Hashtag replay.
Hashtag replay.
All right.
Thanks everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye.